In my third tutorial, I'm going to cover how to run Vulcan-CFD across multiple computers. The problem that we're going to be looking at is called inlet, and it is included with Vulcan in the sample cases folder. It is essentially a flow splitter. The first step is to make sure that Vulcan was installed correctly. Open up the Vulcan config file and make sure that the following line was uncommented when Vulcan was installed. The second step is to check on the number of processors that you will need and that you have available to solve this problem. To do this, first check on your grid file and determine the number of blocks that it has. This grid file has 2 blocks or 2 zones. The second part to this is to check on the number of computers that you have available and the number of processors that each computer has. In my case, I have 2 computers, each with 6 processors. But for this example, we're only going to be using 1 of each. Next, open up your input file and check that the number of processors here matches the number of zones in your grid file. The secret to running Vulcan across multiple computers is that they're all operating from the same directory. And to do this, we need to share a directory from a host computer with that of the other client computers. For this example, Crunch 3 is going to be the host computer, and my Crunch 8 computer will be the client. Next, let's make the host directory in Crunch 3. The third part of this step is to make sure that the SSH servers are set up and running on the host computer and all of the client computers. I was fortunate that the step was done for me, but that also means that I don't have the knowledge to help you set up yours. There are, however, plenty of resources on the internet for helping you do this. Next, we're going to SSH into our first client computer and make an identical directory. While still logged in to Crunch 8, we're going to use the sshfs command to create a file share between these 2 folders. Repeat these last 2 steps for any other client computers. To make sure this was set up right, I'm going to create a dummy file in one of these folders, and it should appear across the entire network. You'll see here that the file appears in both folders now. If you want to unmount the file at a later date, log into the client computer and enter the following command. Step 4, copy your input and grid files into these folders. Similar to our previous tutorial, we're going to make a hostname file that contains the address of each computer and the number of processors allocated to this problem. And finally, step 6, we execute the code. For some reason, the preprocessor here takes a little longer than it normally does, and I've cut out some of the video where we're just waiting. Here you'll see in the system monitor that only one of the processors on Crunch 3 is running. And if I bring in the system monitor from Crunch 8, you'll see that only one of its processors is running as well. That's it. Thanks for watching.